in the past, government invests so much money in basic science, which this science won't give you return in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or 50 years. Projects that you don't foresee a return in your future, but you will definitely gain a lot of knowledge for your future generations and eventually will revolutionize the world.
Hello, and welcome to Power Beyond Pride, a queer change-making podcast bringing you voices and ideas from across our fierce and fabulous spectrum to transform our world. My name is Mattie Simone, and I am the one and only fabulous hostess with the mostest.
I'm Matthew Lukas, and I am a lifelong activist, harm reductionist. I'm the owner of A Great Idea, and really proud to be here today with so many great activists on this podcast. We are your co-hosts on today's Queercast journey. In this episode, we're talking with Shuntai Zhao, and a scientist working in finding a cure for HIV transmission, treatment, and prevention using viral genetic information with global implications.
Shuntai's role as assistant research professor focuses on study of HIV transmission, treatment, and prevention using viral genetic information with a keen interest in exploring viral diseases and beyond. Welcome, Shuntai. How are you doing this evening?
Good. How are you? Thanks for inviting me.
We are so honored to have you in this episode of Power Beyond Pride. Thank you for taking time to join us. It is such an exciting thing to again, be connected with you. I've been really excited about all the work that you're doing, but I have to know, and I want you to share with everybody, kind of what do you have to report from the Zhou lab?
Well, so, if you ask any people who is doing research as a scientist, that most money is from federal, everybody will say that nobody would just do this. Cover their face. Because right now, it's such a difficult time as too much uncertainties. If I was asking me what's going to happen to my lab, that I may likely fire one of my technicians. Because A, funding, B, performance. So, well, this is what is happening in scientific world in United States and worldwide right now, in that science is supported, many support is from public, which is from the government. Government has in the past, government invests so much money in basic science, which this science won't give you return in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or 50 years. Like, for example, our internet was invested by the government through a public project. At the time, nobody knew internet would be so dominating the people's life now. But that was one of the best investment from United States government, also from the people of American people. So we invented the internet. But at the time, nobody knew that how much return you can have. Like, can you get the money back in 2 years? No, it's not like doing a business. Science is that you have to keep investing for projects that you don't foresee a return in your future, but you will definitely gain a lot of knowledge for your future generations and eventually will revolutionize the world. That is the meaning of investment in science by the government, also aka by the public. But right now, there's a lot of uncertainties. One way that I think it is true that I can see, just from my lab perspective view and what I see, you definitely can be more efficient, save some money. There are some waste. There is definitely some waste and definitely some productivity issues. But cutting funding, just especially cutting funding related to HIV and infectious disease, is going to have an impact on many people's life. And in very, very so you don't see a lot of quick return, but you can easily destroy people's life. You have bad consequences if you don't invest it. You don't keep investing it. Like in North Carolina, that we have billions of dollars from federal and other agency that's research money, and these also together, it's not just a business for the academia, but also all the tech companies and many other companies. It's our GDP, it's our business, as many people's life, their business. Like, just think about, like, there's companies doing the importing plastic from China, which we think, okay, it has nothing to do with science. Turn out all these type plastic products will be turning into biomedical research materials, supplies, and biomedical in the medical field, could be used in the medical field. So if there's a cut in the federal funding for this research, and these people may lose some money. This is just you'll see a tsunami of effect of if there is a huge cut, if the federal decide not to invest as much as money, and as we live in North Carolina, and the North Carolina should benefit a lot from this public investment.
It makes sense around what that investment really translates to. And I think when you mention around fraud and waste, because right, that's the big critique. But when we really think about it, it's not a lot of fraud and waste. And especially when you talk about the internet, you talk about all these inventions. Like in doing research, if we cut research, then we cut any opportunities for any innovation to happen. And that goes across healthcare, that goes across technology. Like you said, it's really powerful. I have a hard time wrapping my head around the math. I feel like there's this moment where you're like, where did these things come from? Like at some point, the EV battery showed up somewhere and you're like, where's this thing? But like you dig deep enough and so much of it is research. And I feel like that is a thing that maybe people just have some distance from. And how can we bring people back to understand these investments have an impact on your day-to-day life?
I think this is definitely a disconnection, but that's why A, popular science is so important, and B, and therefore we need to have town halls. Scientists and the lay public have these town halls and annual town halls to talk about a project. And see, just like for a specific disease group, like for HIV, or for any other disease group, you need to engage your community groups. Every year, especially, you want to talk to your communities. You want to tell them what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish, and how this potentially will impact their life, what knowledge will you gain. So these are particularly important. So you wanted to get people involved, even though they're not directly involved in your scientific research or decision which can be researched, but they want to be informed. I think people can get angry that, like, I don't know where my tax money goes. I don't know why these people doing this research. And you can't explain everything that as a scientist, I'm very humble that I feel like I know nothing and I still know nothing. What I can do is just try to be humble and learn and listen to everyone's opinion. But at the end of the day, I would like to sit down with community members, lay public, and people in the scientific field, and talking about my progress and why this federal funding are supposed to be used to, like, for this special project, what impact it can bring, and why scientists need to do that. I think as a scientist, you need to spend some time talking to public. This is our role. This is that. I think if we want to say that communication is to the public, is it definitely something when you can improve communication with public? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Well, and speaking of your research and science and everything, I know that you have been doing a lot of research with HIV. So can you just take us through your journey? What makes you take up that research? What got you where you started?
So, I'm excited to talk about it. So I'm from China. So I graduated from the top one, like, college, then went to the best medical school in China, and that actually was founded by Rockefeller and Johns Hopkins about 100 years ago. And then at the time, because you're in the number one medical school, like, you feel like every year that we send people to Harvard, to Johns Hopkins, and so at the time, and during there was 1 year you can choose different away rotation programs in different parts of the world. A lot of people just choose like top universities. I got the chance that because at the time I was doing a lot of voluntary work for peer education, sex education, is peer education, HIV prevention, and also was doing work with NGOs, with the UNAIDS, and for like sex workers and something like that. And then I was like, this is maybe something I have passionate. This is something I want to do. I got to know a lot of good people, like from WHO and UNAIDS and your CDC. So they invite me to a training in WHO training, local training for like 2 weeks. It's for training for at the time, as I think it's back in 2000s. It's a management of HIV, like treatment and management and kind of specific training workshop. I did the workshop, and then WHO think that, okay, I'm going to send you to, if you're interested, I'm going to send you to Burma, or Myanmar, to help the village doctors. At the time, they have 1%, roughly HIV is 1% of the population, but no treatment, no doctors. They send me to train the village doctors, and then do all this HIV like basic management training, treatment management. So it's I was a medical student. I feel honored that I got chosen by that to do the work. So I spent 3 weeks there. It's a definite journey to me. Very interesting, very interesting. Then after that, my peers, some of them go to Hong Kong, some of them come to United States and Harvard and Johns Hopkins for the aware rotations. I did my aware rotation in Myanmar, just with WHO. That's my first time I left China, and I feel like this is something I want to do. I really want to do HIV work and public health, and because what I used to see that I just couldn't believe that at the time that in Myanmar, 1% of the population had HIV, a lot of drug users. The whole country, only a few doctors know how to treat them. That was, and there's no drug supplies, and just very sad. And I feel like, okay, I can do a lot. This is a field that I can definitely contribute. Then after that, I start doing, then I'm back to the hospitals and very busy. But after I graduated, I got offered one of the best hospital in the residency program in China, but also very malignant. But I also got approached by the China CDC. There is a new division of AIDS there, and they were recruiting medical doctors to manage the treatment program for everyone, all the HIV people in China, which at the time was about 60,000, and later it covered 100,000. Basically, they have a group of doctors managing the treatment. Well, as a sense, they have individual doctors treat them, but you need like the leadership. It's a centralized leadership at the time to manage the treatment. So because the reason at the time, all the drugs are provided by the government. So you need a government to do the bulk purchase and distribute the drug. And you need a doctor and a training for doctors. A lot of doctors don't know how to treat HIV in China at the time. And then C is it monitoring the efficacy of treatment efficacy and manage the database. There are a lot of things to do, and they desperately need people to help them.
I'm actually loving all this information, but we do need to take a quick break. So if you don't mind, we ask that everybody please come back so we can finish this conversation, because it's just getting juicy and it's just getting good, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back. This is Power Beyond Pride, a queer change-making podcast, and I'm Shane Lukas, here with my gorgeous co-host, Mattie, talking with scientist and community advocate Shuntai Zhao. Sharing your journey really is fascinating, Shuntai, like just all the different ways that just serving in many ways taking a non-traditional path from going through your graduate school, through service that you did in Myanmar. That's really powerful. And I guess I'm curious, in your journey as a scientist, did you come to the concept of activist through that process? Did the next few experiences really kind of gel a little bit about the impact you could have through the science work and through the medical work that you were doing?
Oh yeah, so definitely. So what I think that what I wanted, well, at the time when I was in my 20s and doing all this work, we WHO, the UNAIDS, and CDC, US CDC in China and several other countries. At the time I was like, I did not think me as an activist, because I just think that I'm doing some work that people really, nobody's doing it. there was a lot of discrimination and stigma towards HIV. Same here. Same, like nothing really changed much. But at the time, it was really bad in China. So people would see me as an activist because I'm doing this type of work. But what I was doing is science trainings, helping people manage their lives, and nothing is like traditional activist thing we're doing. But what I'm doing, I think, is we want to bring a change to the society at the time. So that's why you can see me as an activist.
I feel you on that one, because let me tell you, a lot of times people will name me as an activist, and I'll sit there and I'm like, well, I don't know how I could be an activist, because in my mind, I'm just speaking up. In my mind, I see something, I'm calling it out. In my mind, I'm working and I do what I do because I love it. So I get you on that one, where people kind of just see you as an activist and you become an activist. But I think sometimes there's intentional activists and unintentional activists. Like I say the people who are just out working and allowing it to happen. But in you being an activist, I know a lot of times being in the light and as an activist, you are constantly busy. And adding on research on top of that, I know that's a lot to do. So I want to ask you, how do you cope sometimes with being overwhelmed, or how do you deal with stress and not let it overcome you in your line of work?
This question is very broad. At different stage of my life, I did different things. But right now, that it's pretty hard to cope with all the stress that I had. But I'm trying to think positively, things in the long term. And I always believe in humanity, and I think we can overcome all the difficulties. All the stress is temporary, but I love working. I'm a bit workaholic, so stress from work doesn't bother me. Stress from things that I have no control of will definitely bother me.
Well, and your role as a scientist has such real impact, and I think, especially addressing, as you mentioned, with HIV. Can you share a little bit, I guess, of what you envision is possible through the work you're doing? Like, what's the thing you envision to be the future? What's possible? What are you working toward in your research and other research among community members? What are all of us not seeing yet that we want to envision about a future, especially around HIV?
So if HIV, I think this is the ultimate, the ultimate goal is a cure, a functional cure, which means that cure that, well, they're equivalent. I mean, we may not be able to completely get rid of HIV from your body, but you don't need treatment. You won't transmit to anyone. You can live just like a person without HIV. This is our goal. This will be a long-term goal. You don't need any medications. So this is our long-term goal. And this is right now, the HIV is there's still a lot of discrimination and stigma. Even though people taking antiviral therapies, they can live as long as people, well, sometimes they live even longer than people without HIV, because they have to see the doctors every 6 months, every 6 to 6 months, and much more often than people without any disease. Ask average American people, how often do they see their family doctor? Do they have a family doctor? How often do they?
Can we afford a family doctor?
Right.
Can you afford a family doctor?
Do we even have access to get a family doctor?
That's the infectious disease doctor. Actually, I talked to I work in a clinic sometime, and some physicians told me that they basically give their HIV patients a primary doctor and just do all the stuff for them, check their blood sugar and lipid and monitor the health, blood pressure, and then do all the things, get them flu shot, and to do all the things for them.
Almost like a country with national health care kind of should be, maybe.
Yeah. So let's back to your questions. That even with the antiviral therapy, people with HIV can live as long as people without HIV. There are still huge discriminations and stigma. It's mostly because people think it's uncurable. If we have a cure that is reproducible. There are some cases of cure, but are not really reproducible. So this will greatly help with people with HIV and people just about the stigma, and prevent future infection. eventually we want to contain it. Eventually we want to successfully eliminate this disease from the world. There's a long way to go. We may not be able to achieve this goal, but this is ultimate goal.
Well, actually, I have a two-part question for you because you talk about the stigma. So, one, how do you think we can start erasing that stigma about HIV? Because I do agree with you. I think people see when they hear HIV, they automatically think a death sentence, or they think a negative connotation, or not even that, but how they view the person that has it. Oh, you must be a drug user, or you must be this, or you must be out here just having sex. That's so not the case nowadays. But how do you think we can get past that stigma?
Well, as a scientist, I don't really. So I'm not a social behavior scientist. I'm a clinical and basic scientist. The only thing that I can say that one thing I can say that if we have a cure,
Mhm.
that is they will benefit the people with HIV a lot and help with the stigma a lot. B, that it's another thing that one thing that like people know that there is HIV, but lay public still probably don't know that HIV now can be 100% preventable. People are on antiviral therapy and they won't transmit to other people. This message may not be delivered to the lay public too well. This is something that messaging and is, like I said, is back to my previous discussion about what scientists can do is we need to talk to the lay public. This is one thing that as a HIV scientist or a medical scientist, you need to talk to the public constantly, just telling them that deliver all these informations.
Well, and I love that, again, somebody like Dr. Fauci was really a powerful person to sort of speak out into the public and knew and understood that role about really translating science. And especially, as you mentioned, the power of being undetectable and what that means, and getting more people to understand what undetectability means. And that means, undetectable, for those of you who are not aware, U equals U, undetectable equals untransmissible. And then getting more community members in alignment with that, where they understand it. Now, in addition to your scholarly work, you also have a role. Like, you also spend and volunteer some of your time, for example, with the North Carolina AIDS Action Network, right, or NCAN. Would you say your role in science is you mentioned earlier, is a little bit of a form of activism. Do you think that informs your volunteer work and kind of encourages you to take a role in community so that you could share more of this information, so that you're doing some of that work to, again, communicate innovations or ways that we need to elevate science?
Yes, of course. Of course, the reason why I joined NCAN is one of a major reason that I like to see how NCAN can have a latest message, and an organization like NCAN can be a perfect body to deliver this message. They talk to the communities. Like right now, the current breakthrough is this long-acting prevention, injectable prevention. This is what I think that the community organizations like NCAN should definitely focus on. That's why I wanted to. For me, is that I know the direction. Well, I'm very humble, but I can think that I maybe know better than many people about the breakthroughs in this field and what's going to happen in the next 5 years. I can give advices to NCAN and what their direction is. And like right now, I think advocating for long-acting prevention is very important, and injectable long-acting prevention important, and also potential, like you can start to talk to people about opinions towards HIV cure and how much you're willing to cost, what you expect the cost would be if there's a functional cure, something like that. This is also I have a huge big HIV cure project is hanging there. Had it not been the administrative transition, it would have already been funded. That I have a lot of hope in it, and I think we may have a reproducible functional cure from what we learn from what we do from this project. In 5 years, we may know how to do it. And in the meantime, the community need to know that we want to ask our committee members to get them informed, and this messaging delivering. This is what NCAN can do. So this is why I was motivated to join NCAN.
That's great. No, I think that's awesome. And I think, again, your service is really powerful as a way to make sure that, again, we are keeping science in these conversations as community organizers. Like, we want to make sure that we're also getting the most recent research. We're also getting encouraged, by the academic communities to be out in communities, to connect with people with lived experience, to bring them into conversation about these innovations. Because I know with things like PrEP, even with things, again, when we talk about HIV treatments and long-acting treatments like injectables and things like that, it's so important that community members are able to access it. And sometimes they're just not aware that these are available, or they just don't have access to organizations that are aware of what opportunities are there for either prevention or treatment. And I think your work, again, is just really great to see. I love seeing scientists in all kinds of parts of life. I want to see more scientists in government. I want to see more Dr. Fauci show up. And I love that you're sharing this experience. So everybody stay with us. We're going to come back in a minute plus to talk in a rapid fire round of questions to get to know Shuntai even better and hear a little bit more about his journey here in America.
Welcome back to Power Beyond Pride, where we are talking with the activist, scientist, brainiac, and powerhouse of a person, Shuntai Zhao. So Shuntai, you mentioned growing up in China. What was it like being in China, coming out there, versus your reflections on being out and open here in the United States? Is there a difference?
I have to say both are kind of difficult. Well, in China is that at the time when I came out, because I was in a graduate school, nobody really cares. But in a society, there were a lot of discriminations. But things are getting better now. One key difference between US and China that is in here is like a lot of people, they have trouble coming out is from the religious background, but not the same in China. In China, the sort of, it's not religious, but is it culture-wise is that you must getting the heterosexual marriage, you must have children. It's what the society expects you to be. But now even the straight people don't get married. They don't have children now, so nobody really cares about that being queer, being gay anymore. So I can see that because there's no resistance from this religious resistance, it's getting quite open now. So that I was so impressed that about a year and a half ago, I went back to China to see my parents. I went back to Beijing and see my family and friends there. They took me to the largest gay bar in Beijing, and maybe the only big gay bars in Beijing called Destination. The line is there was half a mile long line outside the bar. How big is that night? That was Halloween night, so everybody's in costumes. There are probably 2,000 people in the gay bar that night. So it was people didn't even care. See the queers in drags forming a half-mile long queue.
First of all, I don't know those gays because I would never wait in that long of a line. That is a long line. Although the party might have been in the line, so that's possible. The party might have been on that line. That is definitely, but that's amazing. That's such a really interesting, I think, picture for a lot of people who might not picture that as what being queer in China feels like, looks like. How do you compare that, I guess, with your the experience since you've been in the States? Do you feel like you've been able to make other connections, or you feel like you've been connected to the gay community or queer community here?
Well, I'm definitely in a bubble here. It's academic bubble. So I don't really know a lot of people from other backgrounds, to be honest. So I live in an isolated bubble. I feel like this is the situation for a lot of Americans, right? You live in their individual bubbles. You don't get to know people from other communities. I did a person about 10 years ago in a rural North Carolina, and with complete different background, and had very interesting conversation. And at the time I realized how different gay people can be different from other gay people. So,
I mean, there's a wide It's a wide smorgasbord.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I definitely think that we've lost a lot of the sense of community too. So I can understand because there are a lot of people in their bubbles. I think COVID had a hand in helping with that. That especially in America, we have become very bubbleistic people. You don't see people coming out of their area to mix and mingle like we used to. So I can agree to that.
Well, mixing and mingle is kind of our next thing, Mattie, because we
Yes,
are going to
it
have a rapid fire
is.
Q&A. We're going to have a Q&A round for you, Shuntai, and you can respond with whatever comes first to your mind. So whatever the first thought that comes to your mind.
All right. Well, I do want to say, Shane, I guess you'll be the mix and I'll be the mingle. As we're going to do this together. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
But Shuntai,
there we go. I love it. That's going to be we're going to come up with a music name and we're going to do mix and mingle. We're going to do like little show tunes.
Mix and mingle.
We're going to call ourselves mix and mingle.
So Shuntai, first question. Who was the first celebrity crush you ever had?
Crush?
Uh-huh.
Brad Pitt.
Oh, good choice.
Okay, Brad Pitt.
So like,
wait a minute, hold on.
Well.
I'm about to say, was that young Brad Pitt or is that more like Benjamin Button Brad Pitt? Or are we talking about nice, good looking Silver Daddy Brad Pitt?
Oh. Very first, the Selma and Louis movie. Oh. That's a young Brad Pitt.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Interesting. See, I was going to say Fight Club Brad Pitt, but okay.
Fight Club Brad Pitt.
Well, because Selma and Louise is spaced out Brad Pitt, I guess.
It's such a beautiful boy at the time.
Mattie, do you have a favorite Brad Pitt era?
Benjamin Button. I liked the Benjamin Button Brad Pitt when he was the pilot. Yes. It's something about the Mile High Club for me. Take me up in the air, fly me around. I'm happy. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to ask who in this interview has been in the Mile High Club because I don't know. I don't know that I don't know that I want to say that answer. What are the 5 C's of HIV testing via the World Health Organization? This is a tough one. I didn't know this one.
5 C's?
The 5 C's.
From the
World Health Organization.
For what?
For testing, for HIV testing.
C's? I don't know. It's too abstract.
You can't look it up. Don't you dare.
I'm not looking it up, but it's too abstract. I don't know how John said.
It's a tough one. I wouldn't know this. So
I would say 5 C's. Can I take a shot at it real quick?
Sure.
The 5 C's would be cum, collection, clitoris, communicative, and consensual. Would that be the 5 C's?
I'm blushing here, and I don't even know. I appreciate that they did all start with C, so I appreciate that. Like, we're definitely. They could be.
Just saying.
So consent. You had consent. Consent is in there. Consent is in there.
Confidential.
Confidentiality. Shut up, you got it. So each of you got one. I feel like I should. Yeah. No. Now it's a contest. Let's see if you
I guess. Confidentiality is supposed to be there.
Although it looks like in the list, I feel like there's actually 6. No, comfort is not one of them. Neither is cum.
You would think it would be. I'm just saying.
Nor clitoris. All of which are incredibly valuable words, and we love them. I just want to throw some love at both of those words. Counseling is one of those 5. Correct test results. Accurate test results. So correct test results is one of the 5 C's. And so is connection to prevention, care, and treatment. Now, I would have put care as one of the C's, but I guess it's not one of the C's. So consent, confidentiality, counseling, correct test results, and connection to prevention, care, and treatment are the 5 C's. We've all learned a thing. I feel like we should have one of those little after school special, like
the letter of the day
that happen right now. You've learned a thing now. Like that. Yep. So that's what we've got right now. All right. Mattie, you got the next.
All right. Well, today's letter is C. All right. I'm loving it. So your next question is, what's a simple pleasure you appreciate every day? So what's something that gives you pleasure every day?
I was going to start with a C. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, hey, that's the letter of the day is C. We already talked about coming and kumquats. Yes, cat. Yes, cat. We love cat.
Yeah, cat. I saved the word cat.
That was not the C word I was going for, but okay, we're good. We're good.
You did.
Cat. And how many Well, how many? Well, I guess. Well, we'll come up with that in a second. What is your favorite American junk food?
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken. I have to ask. Do you have a favorite Chinese junk food?
Junk food?
Like a junk food, street food?
Yeah. So there's called the mala pan, which is just a really spicy like hot pot, but this you do it on the street. So basically, you have stand of all the broths. And it's very spicy broths, and you have these ingredients on a kebab, like kind of kebab, and you just cook, and then you eat it.
So it's a broth that you basically soak the kebab in.
Yeah, so it's so nasty because it's how you transmit all versions to other people because you share the same broth.
I was like, so it's a shared broth of things that you
broth with everyone else, but the food is incredibly delicious.
Okay. It's so good, but it's nasty at the same time. But it's so delicious.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like a good street food and like American fast food and like fried chicken most of the time, to be honest, because we don't need to talk about bird flu. Like,
I'm not lying. So when I went back to China to visit my parents after 2 weeks, I will start missing the southern fried chicken.
I know you will.
So now, next time you go, we just got to send you some KFCs.
Not the like McDonald's fried chicken.
No.
It has to be southern.
You need some of Mattie's fried chicken, like that comes from the kitchen from somebody's house. I get you. I understand that. Because there's a difference between there's a difference between restaurant fried chicken and good old southern home cooking fried chicken.
Mm-hmm. Home cooked fried chicken is the best.
Well,
sounds
now,
like dinner offer all the way around.
I'm always up for cooking, but I will tell you this: since you're in the South, a lot of people do have chickens for pets. And so, no, I'm not saying eat your pets, but I would say, how many pets do you have and how do you care for them?
Well, I have 4 cats.
Okay.
1 turtle. And who knows how many fish.
I love it. I love it. Now,
3 shrimps.
3 shrimps?
Wait a minute. Okay, so you got shrimps. 4 cats, 1 turtle, plenty of fish, and don't get that mistaken with POF because he's not on Plenty of Fish, people who are listening to this podcast. But he also has 3 shrimp. Why just 3?
It's still alive.
Okay.
I mean, it's still alive.
3 shrimp. All right.
It's really hard to. I also had frogs, but it just died for some reason. It's so hard to keep them alive. I don't know why. Something's not right.
All right. Well, we have a couple more questions, and one of them is: do you think you're a good kisser?
I don't know. Maybe not.
You do a survey card, like a little survey card?
Maybe not, because I'm I don't know.
Okay. So wait,
nobody told me I was a good kisser, so I guess it's not.
Well, has anybody told you was a bad kisser?
No.
Okay, well then you're a good kisser. And if you haven't gotten a negative review, then we go with the positive. Because ain't nobody ever told me I was a bad kisser, and I done kissed a lot of people. So I hope I'm a good kisser. Because if not, then I'm out here doing it the wrong way. So it's okay. It's okay. Everybody can't kiss. Some people just need to peck. But I'm going off on a tangent. I'm coming back. Shuntai, what's a pivotal moment in your life that changed who you are today?
Well, there's like in my journey, like the moment that like I took my first trip out of China to Myanmar, Burma. That was a trip that's changed my career path in my mind. And the second pivotal moment is that when I came to US and joined the big lab here and the Center for AIDS Research in UNC, and all this experience, like the first couple of years, and changed my career projections. So
that's awesome. That sounds really powerful. Thank you for sharing that on that journey. And I want to say thank you again, also Shuntai, for joining us today. Where can people follow you, learn more about your work? Are there any places that they can reach out to you?
Well, I don't use X. Facebook is private. I am on. There is a place for researchers called a ResearchGate. This is for researchers, and we share their research on it. That's a researchers network, a ResearchGate. So that's the only place I think considered social networking that I'm actively on. So
fair enough. Well, we'll look forward to having you back here, though, to talk with us a little bit more about innovations and things that are going on.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for sharing so much.
I'd love to share this. Yeah, I'd love to share more. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Pleasure. Thank you for joining us today. And again, it's just hearing your journey, hearing about really the importance of science as a component of activism is so important. I don't think, again, we talk about that enough. So I really appreciate that a lot. I am Shane Lukas, and I am one of the co-hosts here for Power Beyond Pride. You can follow me at shanelukas.com. I am an activist, a harm reductionist, and I'm grateful to be in the company of such amazing activists. Thank you again, Shuntai, and my wonderful co-host.
Thank you, Mattie. Thank you, Shane, and thank you, everyone.
And I am Mattie. I am just delighted to always be here in the conversation. And you can follow me on my socials at MattieSimone737 and at Facebook at Mattie Bynum. Remember to subscribe and get your friends to subscribe as well to Power Beyond Pride on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And check out our site at powerbeyondpride.com.
Power Beyond Pride is a project from A Great Idea, a queer-owned design and content agency. Learn more about them at agreatidea.com.
This episode is produced by Shane Lukas. Smita Sarka is our project developer. Our editor is Jared Redding with the support of our wonderful Ian Wilson.
We are both part of this podcast awesome host team, right? Mattie's awesome.
Yes,
and we invite you to send it. And we invite you to send in your questions because we do a group chat once a month. And all of our hosts come together and we answer some of those questions and comments. And you can submit those at powerbeyondpride.com or through our social networks.
And we take any question. Do not be afraid to send us a question. There's no question unanswerable, we promise you, okay? So check out our new episodes each week, and we look forward to queer change making with you next time. Thank you again from all of us here at Power Beyond Pride. Go and be powerful.